Rather lads, welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. We'll come back to brand in a new video. It is just hours away before we travel to the Old Trafford, and Arsenal have got to be perfect. The result today literally means that Arsenal have no other choice. We don't want any other result. We cannot afford any other result in the Manchester United game. It's got to be a perfect result. Arsenal have got to win. Arsenal cannot sleep up. Arsenal cannot draw. Arsenal cannot make a mistake. I've taken a shower. I feel fresh. I've eaten something. I feel a little bit, energetic. But you know what I don't feel? I don't feel hopeful. I don't feel optimistic. I don't feel enthusiastic. I don't feel full of energy that we are going to win the title. I don't feel, I don't really feel there is hope. That is the only thing I don't feel. I feel deflated. I feel very weak. I feel, disinterested from football. I just want the season to end. But of course, some of you in the comment box will have told me, Cossy, wait until Tuesday. Wait until Tuesday as they take on Tottenham Hotspur. Maybe that is when we can say it is over. For before that, most of you have told me it is not yet over. So I want your thoughts in the comment box below. Is it over? Manchester City beating Fulham, 4-0 in their game in hand. It was so deflating. It was very, very uninspiring for me. I wondered why I wasted my time following that game. It was absolutely a wastage of time for me. And of course, I don't blame Fulham. They had their try. I think they played only 10 minutes in that game. And the moment they conceded in the 13th minute, it was absolutely over. They just went on and conceded and conceded and conceded and conceded and conceded until our goal difference was totally decimated. It's now 2 goals, I think, between Arsenal and Manchester City. Same number of games. Man City have, of course, a point advantage, and that means that things are looking bleak for us and things are not looking very good. But hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well, and let me know where you're watching from as well. And what are your real title hopes right now after City decimating Fulham? What are your real title hopes? But before we think about Man City, we've got to think about our game against Man United, and we've got to talk about this fixture because I think Arsenal have just been given a very different job description against Manchester United tomorrow. This game has just become harder. This fixture has just become more important than you would have imagined. Now, listen, if Man City had dropped points today, maybe Arsenal could even think about maybe not winning. But the job has changed. The emotions, the pressure, on this team now, it is absolutely immense. And there's one thing I wanted to say. About Arsenal, because I look at Man City play against Fulham today, and there was a very important lesson that I actually picked up from that game. No one is going to do the hard work for you. And that's what we've seen from City. That is one we learned from City. There is no team out there that is going to be willing to put in the hard work for you. You look at the games City have played in this title running. They have beaten Brighton, hands down. They have beaten Wolves, hands down. They have beaten, I think it was, of course, they've beaten Fulham, hands down. And they've beaten Nottingham Forest, hands down as well. All these teams have one thing in common. They have lost to Manchester City without a fight. I don't even, I didn't see any one single team coming out to say, well, this is the title race. Let's make it interesting. Let's try to give Arsenal hope. No, all the teams lost to Manchester City without a fight. So if Arsenal want to challenge this Manchester City side, if we want to go against this Man City side, one of the things we've got to learn is no one is willing to put in the hard work for us. Every single game that we play, we've got to do it by ourselves. Every single game is a final, right from day one to match day 38. It is a final. And what I'm going to do next campaign, hope I can actually do this. I want to do a live reaction for every game we play next campaign. It's a difficult task. That is a lot of consistency for 38 match days. But it's something that I want us to do. It's something that I want this channel to do because we've got to put in the hard work. I think Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, one thing that Mikel has not addressed is the issue of putting in the hard work, because no team is going to put in the hard work for you. I don't think Spurs will put in the hard work against City. I don't think today, I don't think Fulham did. If they did put in the hard work, it was in the first 10 minutes of the game. After that, it was over. They were blown apart and they didn't care. I was looking at Marco Silva on the touchline, like he should be given the award, the Oscars of best actor. Like he was showing as if he was hurting. He was showing as if he cared about not losing this game. Mate, a game that you care about not losing is not a game that you lose 4 goals to nil. It's not a game where you almost don't have a shot on target. It's not a game where you're nowhere near your opponent. So no one is going to put in the hard work for Arsenal, and I think that is a lesson we pick from this season, and it's a lesson that we should take into the upcoming season. Now we take on Manchester United. How do we beat them? That's a big question. As we've seen a couple of case studies on how to beat Manchester United, and I think Mikel Arteta is one lucky hell of a manager, because he can choose any case study, can use any system that we have seen Manchester United struggle to, and we can actually beat them. There is the Crystal Palace system, which absolutely decimated them. You have the Brentford system in, I think it was the first half of the campaign. You have the Bournemouth system. You have so many case studies that you can use to beat Manchester United. But I want us to look at the team news. I want us to look at the probable lineups and how both clubs could set up. Man United have a couple of advantages in terms of players returning, and that could maybe mean that they get they get an advantage in this game. Now, Sofian Amrabat is available. Mason Mount is not available, according to reliable sources. He's picked up another injury. So Mason Mount is not there. They will not have Harry Maguire. So we still expect one midfielder to drop into the back line. And that is going to be one of the very interesting changes we get to see from Manchester United. Do they move Casemiro back in midfield, because it's been absolutely dreadful when he's played in at centre back? So do they move him back to midfield, or do they actually leave him at centre back, which actually poses a very big threat for them? But this is how we expect Manchester United to line up. Andre Onana will be in goal. Johnny Evans, Casemiro, Diego Dalot, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I expect that starting 11. Lisandro Martinez is back, but there is a question whether he will be fit, early enough to actually feature in this game. Something that I'm not actually sure about. I don't think he's going to be fit enough to play in this game. I would be very surprised if he plays Lisandro Martinez in this game. So this is how Manchester United are more likely to set up. Bruno Fernandes obviously will be back in the starting 11 to replace Mason Mount in that number 10 role. So Christian Eriksen and Kobbie Mainoo will be governing that midfield. Or probably, we might see a Scott McTominay as well. So we might see a deep lying midfield of Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes, and then Scott McTominay playing a little bit further forward. Alejandro Garnacho, Anthony, or Marcus Rashford, depending on who the manager wants, will be playing behind Rasmus Højlund. So that is what I think is going to be the starting 11 for Manchester United. Won't be. I will be surprised if we have any big changes. I will be surprised if they go out there and make ridiculous changes. They have a couple of players coming back, but apart from Bruno and maybe Rashford, the rest of the team should actually stay the same. Garnacho, maybe Rashford, Hoyland, and then Bruno Fernandes in that midfield to replace Mason Mount. We might see a Scott McTominay as well. Now, in terms of Arsenal, I think the team that we've been playing these days stays. Honestly, you guys have told me don't change it, don't change a winning 11. No need to change a winning 11. And I kind of feel you, and I kind of understand where you guys are coming from. So I think in terms of Arsenal, in goal, we keep Raya, we keep the same back four of Ben White. We keep Ben White, we keep Saliba, we keep Gabriel, we keep Tomiyasu. If Tomiyasu is there, ready and available, we keep him in the starting 11. But of course, there have been injury concerns, and Mikel Arteta said that we have had players that have to be assessed today. Probably that is Tomiyasu and Bukayo Saka as well. So if Tommy is available, then we play Tomiyasu. If he is not available, then we play either Jakub Kivio or Alexander Zinchenko. In this case, I would go for Jakub Kivio because he's a more defensive player, and I think given the fact that it's Man United and Manchester City have won, and it's a really nervous game, you don't want Alexander Zinchenko's mistakes in that game. Before Manchester City winning, I would give Alexander Zinchenko a chance. But after City winning, no chance. I would give them absolutely zero chance. Now, in midfield, obviously, I think Partey stays in there alongside Declan Rice and Odegaard. And then up top, Trossard, Kai Havertz, and Bukayo Saka. I think Saka will play. I don't think he's picked up something serious. Mikel said that he will be assessed and his availability will be assessed today. I don't think it's going to be assessed over, over the whole weekend. I think he will be available, and I think he will actually be able to play in this game. So you look at the both starting 11s, and you look at the form of Manchester United, and you think this is a game where we should be able to run through them. This is a game where we should be able to do all the kind of nice things in the game. But the problem is that Manchester City win. The fans feel deflated. If you're an Arsenal fan and you don't feel deflated and you don't feel really demotivated, you're one of the most optimistic people on God's green earth. Like, you're one of the most hopeful people on God's green earth, and I think you deserve a medal. Because for me, the way I'm feeling on this live stream is it's over. And I've done my video, and I've put across my reasons why I think it's kind of over, right? But of course, it's mathematically not over until Arsenal drop points. If Arsenal don't drop points, it will be officially over on the final day of the campaign. And that is what we want. And that is what this game means. That although City are this kind of well-oiled machine, they don't make mistakes, they are immovable, they're an immovable object. You want to win your games. You want to win each and every game so that at least you take Manchester City on the final day. That will be another statement of honor. I think Pep has been talking about it after the game, and he said it's in our hands right now. Ever since Arsenal lost to Aston Villa, the title is in our hands. Our fate is in our own hands, and that is the game that Mikel Arteta will look back and say, this is where we gave away our own fate into the hands of Manchester City. If Manchester City, don't own our fate, we'll probably, we'll be probably having very different conversations, right? Going to the Old Trafford. But we know that even if we beat we beat United now, it will be still very difficult, very difficult to visualize this Arsenal team as champions in the end. But how do we approach this game? And I think that's the most important thing, right? How do we approach the game? How do we approach the game against Manchester United? The one thing I've seen with Erik ten Hag is one of those managers that want to play his own style. I've not seen any conservatism from him, especially in games where he's playing opponents that are not his level. I've looked at him play. I've looked at him play against. I think it was Man City, and I thought Man United would actually sit in shape, try to stop Man City, try to play a defensive game. They actually didn't try to do that. They did the opposite. They didn't sit in shape. They played a lot of spaces for Man City. They gave a lot of time for Rodri and Foden and Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland. I think De Bruyne was not in the game, but Erling Haaland. And eventually, Man United lead the game 3 goals to 1. Sorry, 1 goal to 0. And the final result is 3 goals to 1. But you look at the goals they conceded, those are goals that a club at Manchester United's level should not be conceding, especially if you know that you're playing an opponent that thrives on space. So I don't think Eric Ten Hag is going to change his game based on Arsenal. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to play, he's going to play a very open style. He wants to attack. He wants to, catch you on the break. He wants to be, the most transition team in the world. That is what we're going to try to see. We're going to try to see, a Man United side coming out there to try to create something against Arsenal. I think that the fact that they're at the Old Trafford means very much, and it's actually an advantage for Arsenal that this game is at the Old Trafford as compared to what it would have been if it was at the Emirates. Because I think at the Old Trafford, Man United want to show this is our home. They'll try to fight back. They'll try to, create some moments, and that is how you expose them. That is how you actually, get back to them. They will leave spaces in behind. They will try to, they will try to attack. They will try to create some situations in the game. I looked at them against Crystal Palace. In that game, I'm not really sure what was happening because we saw the worst Manchester United side for me that I've ever seen. Well, I've seen them concede 5 against Liverpool. I've seen them concede 6 against Man City, and I've seen them struggle against Arsenal even during the Ferguson days. But this was different. This was very different against Crystal Palace. It was very different. They were very kind of deflated. They played like they don't care. They played like they don't believe they can do anything in that game. And that is something that Arsenal have got to capitalize on. If we can go out there and capitalize on the weakness of this Manchester United side, we definitely win this game. Now, where are their weak areas and where are our strong areas in this game? Let's start off with the fullbacks. Diego Dalot has potentially, I would say, if you combine Arsenal and Man United, Diego Dalot has played more minutes consistently at left back than any other left back of the two teams. Because for us, we played Alexander Zinchenko, who you wouldn't say has been very consistent at left back. We played Kivio, who was consistent to some time, and then he dropped off. Then we played Tomiyasu as well, and then we started off the season playing Julian Timber there. So what you see in that pattern and what you notice is inconsistencies in who's playing at left back. Diego Dalot at Manchester United has been, I think, the third or fourth player they played at left back this season. They played Aaron Wan-Bissaka there. They played Dalot there. They played Lisandro Martinez there, and they played Luke Shaw there. So those are 4 or 3 solid options because Lisandro has played more of a centre back when he's when he's been fit. But those are 3 options that have played for Manchester United at left back because Luke Shaw is injury prone. And that is the first player we've got to target. For me, whether it's Aaron Wan-Bissaka who plays at left back or it is Diego Dalot who plays at left back, none of them is a qualified left wing back. None of them is a qualified, left winger. So we've got to go there and we've got to expose that mistake. That is a massive mistake, right? That is a massive mistake. It's a massive weakness for them. It's a weak area. It is a weak area that Crystal Palace exposed. You look at, I think, Olise's goals and also, Mateta's first goal. That is the mistake they were looking to expose. They're looking to, to create that, extra quality on the left back position against Man United, because they know someone who is out of place is playing there, and someone with less quality is actually playing there. So I would definitely say let's play let's play a game plan that tries to expose Manchester United at left back. Saka can do that very well. I think we have runners in Trossard, in Trossard, in Kai Havertz, in Martin Odegaard, in Ben White. We can overload that position and we can create something from there. Now, apart from left back, Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right back as well has not been his usual self. And we're talking about an Aaron Wan-Bissaka who has brought about a penalty against Liverpool by going into a tackle that he really didn't have to. And ever since that, we have seen a pattern of poor performances, right, from Aaron Wan-Bissaka, time in, time out. And this is where maybe Trossard doesn't really qualify to start this game. And why I would play Trossard, by the way, in this game is because of his ability to finish off chances and his ability to score goals. That is why I'd play Leo in this game. He can score goals, he can create chances. But if you ask me really, if you really ask me, who would I rather play in this game? This is what I'll tell you. Gabriel Martinelli or Gabriel Jesus. Jesus has been in a little bit of fine, not really fine form, but at least he's been in form and he's played more games this campaign than as compared to not really more games, but more games since March as compared to Gabriel Martinelli. So I would play Gabriel Jesus there, and the reason that's why I would play Gabriel Jesus there is to try to expose the weaknesses of Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who is clearly tired, in my opinion. We need to put some quality in the wide areas, and I think the wide areas are going to define this game because Man United offensively are a wide areas team. All their star players, all their players that are performing, apart from Bruno Fernandes, they are wide areas. Garnacho is playing out wide. Anthony, by the way, who I think has had one of the worst seasons, but you've got to say he's one of their best attackers still, is playing out wide. Who else do they have? Rashford, who has been poor, plays out wide as well. And of course, we know Marcus Rashford loves to play and score against Arsenal. So it's going to be a game. If you shut your wide areas and force the game into midfield, that is, you stand a bigger advantage of winning. Because in midfield, there is no comparison. There is no discussion between Rice, Partey, Casemiro, Mainu, and Bruno Fernandes. It's an easy task. Can we force the game to go through the middle? And I think Man United will be very, very nice. They'll sit into shape and they'll try to stop Arsenal from playing from the middle because they know they don't have enough quality. So they'll compact the middle area, try to force us wide, where they know if you bring in crosses, Andre Onana will be able to collect, and they can also get some headers away from the penalty area. And also, Arsenal don't score a lot of headers from open play. Yes, we're very good at set pieces and dead ball situations, but when it comes to open play, I don't think Arsenal really score a lot of goals, from crosses. I wouldn't say Arsenal score a lot of goals from crosses, right? So, I think the first thing we've got to do is target Diego Dalot and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They are tired. They played, I think it was Monday. They were decimated, and their spirits are very low. Can we go out there and still take the game to those two because they are going to struggle? Now, their centre back position is an interesting one. Very, very interesting, by the way, because Man United, defensively, central defense, I don't know. Can they really be in a position to stop Arsenal from scoring? I don't think so. I think, on the other hand, Arsenal have got everything it takes to stop Manchester United from scoring. But do Manchester United have the guts to stop us from scoring? Do they have the means? Do they have the resources? I don't think so. I think there will be a minimum of 2 Arsenal goals in this game. And I'm talking about mistakes. I'm talking about lack of concentration from Manchester United. I'm talking those are the things I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about Arsenal creating a lot of quality, and a lot of chances. Right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just having Man United losing concentration, just having Manchester United, ball watching, and some moments of lack of quality, there will be goals from such instances. So I think we just need to be patient. United always create problems for themselves. Andre Onana will give away one at some point in time. Mm, Casemiro will give away one at some point in time. Obviously, we know these days he's one of the worst players in the Premier League. So there's no question about that. There's no debate on that. So defensively at centre back, Kai Havertz, I expect him to get a goal in this game. Like, if you cannot get a goal, if you don't get a goal against this Man United defense, when will you score against them? Like when they buy Bastoni, when they bring in Matthias De Ligt, that's when you want to score against them. This is the time, right? This is the time. Arsenal, Kai Havertz, you go out there. You're our number 9. You're our goal scorer. You're our central man. You go out there and you get the goals. They are very weak at the back. Like they're really, really weak at the back. So for me, when I analyze every Manchester United, department, Arsenal should be able to roll them over. Arsenal should be able to do a job against them. Now, I'm not saying it's gonna be that easy. I'm not saying it should be that easy because it shouldn't be that easy, and it's not going to be that easy certainly, right? They are, they're renowned for making sure that Arsenal don't win at their stadium. They're renowned for turning up against Arsenal, and they're renowned for bouncing back against against Arsenal. And also, we know that when you play an injured team, when you play a beaten team, a team that has been humiliated, they have nothing to lose, right? So they will be out there. They will come out there, and they will actually, put in a fight. I said this on Friday, and I said, was it Friday or Thursday? Thursday, and I said Arsenal have the harder fixture, right, and the easier opponent. Man City have the easier opponent, sorry, the harder opponent, but the easier fixture. Because Fulham came to complete their last home game. That's what they came to do, complete their last home game, and they did it brilliantly well. Man United are not coming to complete their last home game. Man United are coming to send an apology to their traveling fans that traveled to Crystal Palace. They're coming to send an apology to every member of the Manchester United squad and the Manchester United fan base and stakeholder that actually suffered a humiliating defeat on Monday. So they're coming to say, we are sorry. They're coming to say Arsenal will not further their winning streak at the Old Trafford. This is not happening. So that's why our fixture is harder. But what makes us favorites and what makes our fixture a little bit easier is the quality of the opponent, mentally, psychologically, physically. I don't think Manchester United are up to it. I don't think Manchester United are going to be up to it unless otherwise, right? So how do you beat Man United? For me, it's just simple. Create enough chances because they concede almost 18 shots per game. 18 shots. They've conceded 18 shots per game, including games that they played against Burnley, Sheffield, and a couple of other, trash sides. So, create your chances. If Burnley had 18 shots against Man United, we can have 20, 27, 30, right? If Sheffield had around 10 and above shots against Man United and scored twice, we should be doing the same. Go out there, score, and create a lot of chances. That is the first thing. Because when you create chances, you know what? You score goals. And the second point that I've written down is go and score the goals. No one is going to do the hard work for you. No one. There is no team that is willing to stop Man City. There is no team that is willing to sacrifice what they have because they want to stop Man City. No. So you've got to do the hard work yourself. You've got to beat the big boys. You beat Tottenham, you beat Chelsea, you beat Man United, you beat Man City themselves, and you beat Liverpool. And you even beat the small teams that are stubborn. So tomorrow, the hard work begins. And for me, tomorrow's game is the beginning of Arsenal's title challenge next season. I don't think we are fighting for the title this season anymore. I think it's the beginning of our title charge next season. How is Mikel Arteta going to keep the team motivated? I don't know. I don't know what he tells them, because last year he told them this was an overachievement. So we are now definitely going to give it a shot this year. Next year, what does he tell them? I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure, right? I'm not really sure. But I think all the players will say that we were very close, but yet so far. And we are going to come next season to try to rectify the mistakes, the problems that we actually create for ourselves, especially when we are at the Emirates Stadium. So go out there against at the Old Trafford. It's our first step at winning the trophy next season. That is our first step. If we can score goals against Man United, if we can break the Old Trafford curse, it means when we go there next season, we will have done a job against them, right? We will have done a job against them, and we will have, broken the curse, at the Old Trafford. So anyone will say, "Well, Arsenal don't win at the Old Trafford," and we will say, "We won there last season, and we will win there again," right? So I'm 100% positive, 100% sure Arsenal will score goals in that game, but the difference is going to be how many and how you score. It's not about just scoring goals. You've got to score enough, and you've got to score good, beautiful goals, like really, really good, beautiful goals. I don't want to see, Arsenal scoring 1-0 and, a Manchester United mistake, and then we are celebrating. I want a good result, very good result, right? We are losing the title, but can we win? Can we end the season on 2-4-0 wins against Man United and against Everton? I would love to see that. I would enjoy that. So those are the first two things you've got to do: create your chances and take them against Man United. The second thing that you've got to focus on when you're playing this Manchester United side, they have aging players. So you cannot play a slow game because that plays into their hands. So you look at Casemiro, you look at Ericsson, you look at Evans, these are tortoise players. These are crocodiles out of the water, because a crocodile in water, different conversation, very, very different conversation. But the truth is that all these players at Manchester United with their, laggy legs, you've got to play a high intensity game, and we've got to play a high intensity game. High intensity, I mean Arsenal versus Bournemouth. High intensity, I mean Arsenal versus Brighton this season. Like, what a performance, by the way, by guys. What a performance we put in against Brighton this campaign, both home and away. So that is the kind of performance that Arsenal have got to put in. We need to be running, and we need to be running faster and harder and, longer than Manchester United, because they have old players. I don't think Casemiro should be balling in midfield at his 40th year, in the Premier League. I don't think we should be bowled by Casemiro, Ericsson, and Johnny Evans. So they've got old players. They've got players that don't have the legs, and that is where you focus first. In some areas, of course, they have those young talents. The wingers, the Garnachos, the Mainus that we've talked about. But I think Kobe Mainu is one of those players that feel really, really burdened by playing for Manchester United. He feels burdened, and you can see it in his eyes that he doesn't want to be there, that he doesn't want to play for Manchester United anymore, right? Obviously, he loves the club. I'm not saying he's going to leave, but what I'm trying to say is that they are actually, they're actually giving all the work defensively to Kobe Mainu, and that's why the midfield is being broken. So, can we play a pacey game? Can we increase the intensity of the game so that some of the old players, some of the old dogs in the Manchester United team cannot actually keep up, right? And also, we're talking about a team that was made to chase football for 90 minutes on Monday against Crystal Palace. There will be elements of burnout. There will be elements of Manchester United being tired. I want us to take advantage of that. Now, if we play a high intensity game, We create our chances, we take our chances. There's one thing that can stop us from winning that game: mistakes. And when I say mistakes, I'm going to reference Man United versus Liverpool, and why Liverpool are no longer title contenders. Today, by the officially, it was confirmed that Liverpool can no longer win the Premier League, even if they win their all their remaining games. They can no longer win the Premier League. Even if they win on Monday and they win on the deadline day, they will not be able to win the Premier League. It's over for them. Jurgen Klopp is walking out with um, a cup of tea, the Carabao, cup of beer, probably cup of, Siminov. I'm not sure. I don't know, right? So don't make mistakes against Man United. Don't gift them goals that they don't deserve. It's a very listen. It's a very weak point because I mean, why would you want to give them goals? Why would you want to give them goals they don't deserve? But the problem is that it happens all the time. That is the problem. All of us now, you don't want to give your opponent easy goals. You don't want to give your opponent easy chances. But it happens all the time. We called Tottenham back into the game. And what that actually meant, calling Tottenham back into the game, that meant that we lost a 2-goal difference in that game. And now Manchester City are breathing down our throat. They're breathing down our throat because we lost a 2-goal difference. And how did we lose it? Mistakes, 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 mistakes. Honestly, mistakes. Mistakes from David Raya for the first goal. And then the second goal, I think we just kick a guy in the penalty area. We just kick him hard in the penalty area. And boom, it's a penalty, right? So if you allow Manchester United to get any kind of joy, they will use that joy. If you allow them to get any kind of joy, mistakes, they'll pounce on them. I don't think they are the worst team in terms of attack. I don't think they're the worst team in terms of what they can do. No, they are not the worst team. They can actually do some good job. So if we want to, if we want to win that game, mistakes are out of the equation. Mistakes are out of the door. Don't even consider it. Don't even think about it. I think Mikel was talking about Arsenal winning this game, and he said one of the things that we've got to do is to make sure that we don't give away chances against big teams. So Man United, they still have got the quality to punish. Somehow Liverpool didn't win against Man United, right? Somehow they didn't, but they gifted them. I think it was Quanch who just lays the ball into Bruno Fernandes' path. And that's the quality I'm talking about. Because Bruno Fernandes doesn't get an easy he doesn't get an easy chance against Liverpool. That's a very difficult chance, by the way, to bury. But he buries it. He absolutely buries it. So if you commit mistakes, if you give them chances, they will pounce on them. They've got some quality in that team. There is a Garnacho, there is a McTominay who scores a lot of goals, they've got a Rasmus Hojlund, and they've got their captain, Bruno Fernandes. So can we avoid mistakes tomorrow against Manchester United? I think we can. Keeping the most number of clean sheets, especially away from home, means that this Arsenal team is capable of doing something. Okay, Agra says, waiting. Arsenal will win 4-0. And Oliver says, good evening, Cossy. But I request all the Arsenal fans to be patient. Imminently, Arsenal gonna win the trophy, no matter what happens this season or next. Love your comment. I really do. I really, really love your comment. Like, it just allows me to spring back into life. It just allows me to say, maybe this is not our season. When I started this live stream, I said I was deflated. I was demoralized. I was demotivated. I was even going to cancel this live stream. But I said, let me just come and talk to the guys. Let me just come and talk to the community. Let me see what the people have to say about, our chances. And I'm really happy that you guys are not in the same position that I am, because who would be helping the other? You guys are helping me, trying to realize that maybe Spurs could do a Sparsy job against Manchester City. But the point that you have put across, Oliver, is nice. Arsenal are a work in progress. Like, we know that it took Jurgen Klopp 6 years. We know that in the last 6, 7 years, Jurgen Klopp has been building something to win trophies, and eventually he did win the Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, and Carabao Cup. But one thing I don't want is Arsenal to win one trophy. That is one thing, and that's why I want us to use every opportunity. But the good point is that chances will come, right? I think that is the massive point you put across. Chances for us to win the title will come, and our title is coming. Will it be before the fall of Man City? No way. This Man City side, they are not falling. Pep Guardiola has been talking about Phil Foden and Josko Gvardiol, and he said Gvardiol is a signing for many, many years, and so is Phil Foden. It's not a signing, but he's a player for many, many years. Like, imagine the quality Phil Foden has displayed this campaign, but it's just, you know, he's just very young. He's one of the young players of the year nominees, the same as Josko Gvardiol. Very young, they're 24. So this Man City dynasty and this Manchester City empire is not going to go away. It's not going to go away. They're going to continue spending, and they're going to still win games. So we must find a way of winning trophies with or without Manchester City competing with us. Okay. But I will be patient. Like I said, I wouldn't even think about replacing my manager this summer, whether Arsenal finish first, second, or third. Right. And the only way I would sack Mikel Arteta, which is now improbable, the only way I would sack Mikel Arteta is if Arsenal finished outside the top four, which is like impossible this season. So I would definitely give him another summer, and I would definitely give him another season and see what happens out of there. Okay, thank you so much, Oliver. That's a beautiful comment, by the way. Bamedi says, "Hey, I'm sick, boss. Because of City's win, I was absolutely deflated, really, really deflated." Mugisha says, good evening, Cossy. I wish we hit Man United like 7-0. That's not happening. I don't think that's happening. One says Spurs need to beat Man City after beating Burnley, for a slot in the UEFA Champions League. I want to tell you something. Spurs are not going to the Champions League. I've made that prediction and I've made it here. If Spurs go to the Champions League, I will do my next live stream. The moment they qualify, I will do a live stream without a shot. The moment Spurs qualify for the Champions League this season, I will do a live stream without a shot. Now, I know there is a reason for them to believe. I know that they're looking forward to that Aston Villa game. I know that they're supporting Liverpool. I know that most of them are looking forward to maybe disappointing Man City and boosting their chances of going to the UCL. But they are not going to go to the UCL. Even if they beat Man City, they are not going to go to the UCL. Mark my words. And it's not that I hate Spurs. I'm a realist. I look at games. Aston Villa have Crystal Palace as their last fixture. Do you honestly think that Villa are going to lose to Liverpool and Crystal Palace? Do you honestly think that the 4-point difference between Tottenham and Aston Villa is going to be covered, and Villa are just going to lose each and every game that they're remaining with? I even don't think that Liverpool beat Aston Villa. Like, this Liverpool side, this Jurgen Klopp side, they beat Aston Villa. I will be very surprised. I would really, really be very surprised if they walk away with 3 points. That Liverpool side, they're very, very poor for me. Bamedi says, I'm watching from Botswana. Thank you so much. Mugisha says, we just wait for Spurs on Thursday. It's a Tuesday game. So it's not even a Thursday game. It's a Tuesday game, right? And then we surrender. Jose says, Fulham are not supposed to be in the Premier League, supposed to be relegated. I mean, is that a criticism? All right. Are you trying to critique Arsenal, or are you trying to critique Fulham? Because you're talking about a Premier League side that Arsenal have not beaten this season. You're talking about a Premier League side that Arsenal have taken 1 point off. So if among the two teams, right, we are not in position to sit here and say Fulham don't deserve to be in the Premier League. They deserve to be in the Premier League. Oh, yes, they do. Because they have stopped a title runner. They have stopped a title run for Arsenal. So they're not a poor side, by the way. They're not a poor side. It's just that we sent them to do a job that we failed to do. We said, Fulham, you can beat us, but you go and beat Man City. How stupid can we be, honestly? The job was to get maximum points against Fulham at home. We failed to do that. So Fulham are not to blame. Fulham are not to blame, honestly. They're not to blame. What about Manchester United? If you're saying Fulham, what about Manchester United? Hit the like button for me, guys. Thank you so much. Um, but Mehdi says we need a quick striker that needs to convert chances that should have won us other games. Harvest misses a lot of chances in games that we need to win. I'm not going to scapegoat any players in this live stream. I'm not going to scapegoat any players in this live stream. You know, this Arsenal team has given all their all. They have given all they can. They have scored 88 goals. They have conceded only 28 goals. So that is a goal difference of 60. This team has done enough. This team has done a good job. The only thing we did is we did what is enough for us, but not what is enough to meet the standards that have been set by the establishment which is Manchester City. So if Arsenal had looked at the standards set by Man City, maybe we could have we could have won the league, right? Maybe we could have won the league. So I don't think I do think Arsenal is a striker, but I'm not trying to slit any any Arsenal players here, not any, because last season we scored 88 goals. This season we are on the road to score 90 plus goals. Last season we conceded 43 goals. This season we are conceding less than that, 28. We might end up at around 30 goals conceded in this campaign. 30 goals conceded only, and you don't win the title. Like, you look at Man City and the seasons they've been winning the title. Last season they conceded 33 goals. That allowed them to win the Premier League. The season before that they conceded 26. That allowed them to win the Premier League as well. Then the season before that they conceded 32. So almost Arsenal have done everything City do, scoring a lot of goals, conceding very few. But the one thing we have not done is winning games that you must win. Fulham, West Ham at the Emirates Stadium. Those are the games that we did, and Aston Villa, by the way, at the Emirates Stadium. That's it. Sagan says, good evening, bro. Keep up the good work. Oliver says, it's tomorrow Manu will put up. It is true. Tomorrow Manu will put in will put up a good situation. Shadrach says, hello. Man City won the Premier League because of FFP and England FA. Well, they've created a monster. They've created a monster of Shadrach that is Man City, and I hope they're happy with that monster. Honestly. Farmside says, hey, bro, Cossy, I'm seeing a win for Arsenal, and I still believe that this season isn't over. Football results can always change, so that is not yet over. Spurs may shock City. And then Shadrach also says the problem is FFP in England and the FA. I'm done believing. I'm done believing. Like, you know how Man City have scored 10 goals in their last 3 games, 10 goals to nil. Those are games where Arsenal fans thought, this is our game. This is the game where Man City drop points. This is the game where they lose games. This is the game where they do this and that. During that period of time, when we have been optimistic, Man City have scored 10 goals and conceded none. Clean sheet against Nottingham Forest, clean sheet against Wolves. Did they keep a clean sheet against Wolves? Maybe not. Clean sheet against Fulham. So maybe 10 goals to 1. Like, are you still believing that that team is going to drop points? Are you still believing that that is the team that we want to drop points? Guys, I want to be realistic. I don't think we stand, a much bigger chance. Listen, guys. Nice to have you on this evening. We'll be chatting tomorrow again, prior to the Manchester United game. I'll have an upload earlier on for you today in the tomorrow in the morning. So make sure you watch out for that. For now, have a good night, and I'll speak to you right in the next one.